What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Today, I'm doing race 6 for the 2024 Quaker State 400. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. This weekend, the NASCAR Cup Series has Atlanta Super Speedway, a 1.5 mile super speedway track. This also is the first race of the round of 16 and the first race of the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. The last time it ran Atlanta Motor Speedway, we saw Daniel Suarez basically win by a couple thousandths of a second over Ryan Blaney and Kyle Busch to pick up his second career NASCAR Cup Series victory. He'll be looking to pick up his third career NASCAR Cup Series win this weekend at Atlanta Motor Speedway. So now, let's go ahead and jump into picks. But before I go ahead and jump into picks, let's take a look at the weather for this weekend. So the weather for this weekend is looking extremely promising. It's going to be 81 degrees a high with 58 degrees with only a 10% chance of rain with partly cloudy skies. Going to be nice if you're headed out to the racetrack. Going to be some pretty nice weather for early September. Hopefully the weather can be really good for the fans headed out to the racetrack this weekend. With the playoffs beginning, let's go ahead and take a look at the playoff standings entering the start of the playoffs. So Kyle Larson's up by 35 points. Chris Sabella's up by 27. Tyler Reddick's up by 23. William Byron's up by 17. Ryan Blaney's up by 13. Denny Hamlin's up by 10. Chase Elliott up by 9 points. Brad Keselowski's up by 3. Both Joey Logano and Austin Cindric are both up by 2. Daniel Suarez is up by 1. And Alex Bowman currently holds the last spot, being up by 0. The four below, Chase Briscoe and Harrison Burton are both below the cutoff line by 0 points. Ty Gibbs and Mark Truex both are 1 point below. So those are the 4 drivers who currently are below the cutoff line. So now, let's go ahead and jump into picks. For those who are new to the channel, here's how picks usually work. I usually do 2 suck picks, 2 underdog picks, a winner's pick, and 5 drivers you need to watch out for. But because this is a super speedway week and the first race of the playoffs, we're going to have 3 suck picks, 3 drivers I expect to struggle throughout the weekend, 3 underdog picks, 3 drivers who desperately need a good run, who I think will have a great run or really good at this type of track. And I'll do my winner's pick, the driver I think is going to win the race overall. And I'll have 6 drivers you need to watch out for along with the race winner. So now, let's go ahead and jump into picks. Who are my suck picks for the Quaker State 400? My first suck pick for this week in Atlanta Motor Speedway is the driver of the 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing, Martin Truex Jr. Mark Truex Jr., since getting over to Joe Gibbs Racing, he has struggled on super speedways, which is crazy considering back in his DEI days, he was very dominant in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, but it just really hasn't clicked since that time. On top of that as well, this 19 team currently at the moment, they really don't have any mojo. In the last 13 or 14 NASCAR Cup Series races, Mark Truex Jr.'s only had 2 or 3 top 10s, and his average finish is a 24.5. He has struggled this year, has not ran well, and unfortunately, I think the bad luck is going to continue for Mark Truex Jr. I don't think he'll have a good run this weekend at Atlanta Motor Speedway. My second suck pick for this weekend at Atlanta is the driver to 16 car for Kaulig Racing, Shane Van Gisbergen. Shane Van Gisbergen will be going back-to-back starts, of course, run the Xfinity Series race as he's looking to get more Cup Series experience for next year. Shane, I just think, unlike Xfinity, I just don't think he is going to run well this weekend. While Kaulig's had good cars in Cup in the past, the last couple Super Speed races for SVG have not gone well. He finished like 29th at Talladega earlier this year, and unfortunately had an engine failure at Daytona. I think he'll sadly struggle this weekend, unfortunately, and likely finish outside of the top 25, more than likely this weekend at Atlanta Motor Speedway. My third and final suck pick for this weekend at Atlanta is the driver 21 car for the Wood brothers, Harrison Burton. Look, Harrison Burton got that big win at Daytona. There's no denying that. And to be fair, he did finish in 11th earlier this year at Atlanta. Unfortunately, I think he's going to struggle this weekend. This 21 team has not had the pace and speed for the most part. They're probably going to get caught up in a wreck or incident at some point throughout the weekend. I think, unfortunately, ends up crashing out. And I think he'll, unfortunately, for sure get eliminated in the round of 16. I sadly think Harrison Burton will not have a good run, unfortunately. And sadly, I think he'll struggle this weekend at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And now we're going to go ahead and jump on the underdog picks for the Quaker State 400. Who are my underdog picks? My first underdog pick for this weekend at Atlanta is the driver 38 car for Front Row Motorsports, Todd Gilliland. Todd Gilliland has been a pretty underrated super speed racer so far in 2024. And you have to remember, I'm pretty sure he had the fastest car in this race earlier in the year and led the most laps in the spring race earlier this season. I think Todd Gilliland is going to be very, very fast this week, and I think the 38 team is going to be quick. They're probably going to be contending for the pole this weekend. I think that Todd Gilliland will have a really strong chance and a great opportunity to for sure be competitive this weekend at Atlanta Motor Speedway. My second underdog pick for this weekend at Atlanta is a driver 34 car for Front Row Motorsports, Michael McDowell. Michael McDowell is a pretty underrated super speedway racer as well. He nearly won at Talladega before unfortunately getting taken out on the last lap after he put up a pretty bad block. He was really fast at Daytona earlier this year as well. I think Michael McDowell is going to be a major threat and contender, and I think he could go back-to-back on the poles as well. I expect McDowell to be very, very strong, very, very quick, and I think he for sure will be a contender to potentially win this weekend at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And my third and final underdog pick for this weekend at Atlanta is the driver of the 5 car for Hendrick Motorsports, Kyle Larson. Usually you'd either have Kyle Larson as a suck pick or a contender for the win. But Kyle Larson is kind of underrated at super speedways in recent years. Yes, he hasn't had the finishes to show for, but he's been pretty fast at these tracks. He was in the top 5 a ton of the race at Daytona, and I feel like since getting the Hendrick, Larson has generally improved. I think Kyle Larson will actually have a pretty solid run this week, and I think he'll probably lead a few laps for sure. And I do think Kyle Larson will have a good chance and opportunity to get out of Atlanta with a solid points cushion after this week at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And now we're going ahead and jump onto the winner's pick for the Quaker State 400. Who is my winner's pick? The driver who I'm picking to win this weekend at Atlanta Motor Speedway has been on a roll over the course of the last 4 weeks, with his worst finish in the last 4 races being 12th. The driver I'm picking to win is the driver of the 8 car for Richard Childress Racing, Kyle Busch. I think Kyle Busch is going to finally end the winless streak that's gone back to Gateway of last year. This 8 team has a lot of momentum right now. He's finished 12th, 4th, 2nd, and 2nd. On top of that as well, Kyle Busch had one of the fastest cars in the Daytona 500, finished 2nd at Daytona, and also finished in 3rd at Atlanta. I think Kyle Busch is going to be a major threat and contender to get it done, and I think after all the waiting to see Kyle Busch finally go to victory lane, I think he's finally going to get it done. I'm picking Kyle Busch to get the win this weekend at Atlanta Motor Speedway with Richard Childress Racing, get his 64th career NASCAR Cup Series win. And now we're going ahead and jump on the drivers you need to watch out for this weekend at Atlanta. Who should you have your eyes out on? The first driver you should watch out for this weekend at Atlanta is the driver of the 23 car for 2311 Racing, Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace has been very fast over the course of the last 5 to 6 weeks. He led a ton of laps in the Southern 500. I think the second most behind Kyle Larson. And he also has had a really good stretch of races as of late. He has had 5 or 6 top 10 finishes the last 8 or 9 races. And Bubba Wallace, of course, finished in the top 5 at Atlanta earlier this year. And has been pretty good at super speedways throughout the season. I expect Bubba to be very strong and quick. And I think he'll have a good chance and opportunity to get his first win of 2024 this weekend. The second driver to watch out for this weekend at Atlanta is the driver of the 9 car for Hendrick Motorsports, Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott won Atlanta Motor Speedway back in 2022, and while Chase Elliott hasn't had the overall pace and speed in recent weeks, he's been good at Atlanta in the past. So I expect it to be a major threat and contender for the win, and it would not shock me or surprise me if Chase Elliott is able to get his 20th career NASCAR Cup Series victory this weekend at Atlanta Motor Speedway with Hendrick Motorsports. The third driver to watch out for this weekend at Atlanta is the driver of the 6 car for RFK Racing, Brad Keselowski. You can never count out Brad Keselowski on a super speedway. This 6 team has been very fast this year. He had one of the strongest cars at Daytona, had a fast car in the Daytona 500, was fast at Atlanta earlier this year, and could have won a couple races at this track in recent seasons. I think Brad Keselowski is going to be a major threat, and I think he'll be a very strong contender to potentially get his second win of 2024 this weekend at Atlanta. The fourth driver to watch out for this weekend at Atlanta is the driver 24 car for Hendrick Motorsports, William Byron. William Byron is a very underrated super speedway racer. He has 4 super speedway wins, 2 at Atlanta and 2 at Daytona. And I would not be shocked or surprised if Williams is able to end this winless streak that goes all the way back to, I believe, Circuit of the Americas. I think he's going to be a major threat and contender, and I do think they'll bring the pace and speed for William Byron for sure this weekend at Atlanta Motor Speedway. The fifth driver to watch out for this weekend at Atlanta is the driver of the 17 car for RFK Racing, Chris Buescher. Chris Buescher is an underrated super speedway racer. He's been pretty good the last couple of seasons, and I feel like he will be a major threat and contender to get it done. I think he's going to be going for it. I think he wants to win before the end of the year for his sponsors and everybody else, and it would not shock me or would not surprise me if Chris Buescher is able to get his first win for sure of 2024 this weekend at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And the sixth and final driver I think you should watch out for this weekend at Atlanta Motor Speedway is the driver of the 12th car for Team Penske, Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney almost won this race earlier this year, and Ryan Blaney has been really great at super speedway tracks throughout his career. He's got 3 wins at Talladega, does have a win at Daytona, nearly won Atlanta earlier this year. I think Ryan Blaney will have a really strong chance and a fantastic opportunity to potentially get his 3rd win of 2024 and his first super speedway win of the 2024 season this weekend at Atlanta Motor Speedway. So, those are my race picks for the 2024 Quaker State 400 at Atlanta. Just a reminder, my suck picks are Mark Truex Jr., Shane Van Gisbergen, and Harrison Burton. My underdog picks are Todd Gillen, Michael McDowell, Kyle Larson. My winner's pick is Kyle Busch. And the ones to watch out for, Bubba Wallace, Chase Elliott, Brad Keselowski, William Byron, Chris Buescher, and Ryan Blaney. Those are my race picks. So, that is going to be it for the Race 6 video for the 2024 Quaker State 400 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support on Patreon as well. Links description below that, and comment your thoughts below and your picks below for this weekend at Atlanta. Let me know your suck picks, let me know your underdog picks, let me know your winner's pick, and let me know your drivers you're watching out for this weekend at Atlanta. Let me know your picks in the comments below. There likely will be a Penske video dropping for the Quaker State 400. There probably won't be any more videos dropping after that. However, tomorrow we're going to have a NASCAR news video, most likely discussing over the course of the last couple days. If not, you might see another silly season update dropping. You're also going to see some good videos this weekend. We're, of course, going to have the Xfinity Cup Series reviews from Atlanta. And we'll probably have a couple Shane Van Gisbergen videos, maybe along with the Haley Deegan video, dropping as well very, very soon. Got a lot of great content dropping that I cannot wait for you guys to check out. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.